your hand-me-downs. They didn't fit, but I liked wearing them because I liked the scent.
Yeah.
There's
That's what she said.
there's a particular scent
That's exactly what
on
she
your clothes. I don't know what it is, but there's a particular scent on your clothes that I almost didn't want to wash them because I didn't want to lose the scent.
You know,
And
just let me say this. Father Pio had a peculiar scent
really,
that everybody identified.
wow.
Anyway, go ahead.
And so like when I was in Tonga, you gave me your shoes. Your shoes are a size bigger than mine, but I wore them anyway. And the shirts that you gave me, your shoulders were big, and they hung on me, but I wore them anyway. And I liked wearing them because of that. Oh, I know what I was going to say. And so the gifting, I guess you got to understand what I'm saying here. The gifting has never been important to me. What's been important to me was me being with you.
Yeah.
That was it. I've never, I don't look, like there was a guy, like Darren, he tried to, like get into your pocket, and he was after the gifting and he wanted the anointing and everything. I never cared about any of that. I didn't care about anything.
That's not what you're after.
Yeah. And I remember
You would be gone if you were after that.
yeah.
Because there's been several. They're not here.
Yeah. I never cared about that. And I remember when you and Cece came to visit us in Hawaii, it might have been the time when you did the curse, the meetings on the curse. And I remember going to the airport, it was just me, and I was walking with you and Cece, and Micah was living with me, and I had family and everything, and I was living there in Hawaii. And I was walking with you, and you were getting ready to leave. You were getting ready to go on the airplane. And I remember saying to you, if it were possible, I would walk away from everything right now.
Yeah.
No bags, no wife, no kids, no nothing. I would walk on this. If it were possible, I would get on this plane with you and leave right now. And you said something like, not for this time, but there may be, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in there.
And I also said, I need you here with Rick. I also told you that.
I didn't hear that.
I need you here with Rick.
That's right. That's right.
You have to be to Rick what you are to me. That's why I sent you over there.
You were always willing to be that to Rick, and now he's willing to receive you.
Yeah.
Rick's turned around with you.
Yeah. The thing I saw in this whole familiar thing, the reason that the girls couldn't understand my logic was because I was under a different spirit. And so, why do we want to stop sending checks? Well, because
They don't need to drive.
I was under another spirit.
Yeah.
And the reason you tried to reach me through reasoning and you couldn't reach me.
Yeah.
Rick tried to reason, he tried to reach me through authority.
Yeah.
And that didn't work because the other part of my motivational sin was rebellion.
Yeah.
So You know, so when someone tries to put authority on me, I throw it off.
Yeah.
You know, who do you think you are?
Well, it's not in your nature.
Yeah,
That's where your German culture leaves you.
yeah,
You're not interested
yeah,
in taking over the world.
yeah. So administration and the whole defense thing and all that stuff, and so she couldn't reach me because I was under that spirit. Rick couldn't reach me because I was under that spirit. And the thing that the thing I told Rick was, you know, everybody thinks that all of a sudden Joe's going off the deep end. And he said, well, I don't think you've gone off the deep end. But he was like giving me instruction, you know. The girls know how to run the house. I said, I know that, you know, and I'm gonna handle these guys. And I said, you know, that's fine with me. I mean, I was agreeing with everything, but there was a strength of defense that I was still under in being your bodyguard that
Now, did you talk to them?
I haven't talked to him
Okay,
yet.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
It'll be good.
yeah,
You don't have to go through the whole thing.
yeah.
Just
Just
be it under
my
the wrong
part
spirit.
with him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
be it under the wrong spirit.
yeah. And that's why he couldn't reach me, because he couldn't discern the spirit that I was under. And when we sat down here yesterday, I know you could see it. But I was talking to you out from under that spirit, but in the desperation of I don't know what to do.
So can I say?
But the way that you talk to me, and the smile on your face, and the kindness, totally disarmed me. And it wasn't, you know, you didn't say, well, you're under a spirit. You know, you didn't say anything like that. You were just talking to me, and you were kind, and you understood my weakness. And you know, and that's part of the prayer that you prayed years ago. Lord, help me understand why they do what they do. And you were operating in that yesterday. I've never had an experience like that before. I mean, I really felt like I was sitting down face to face with Jesus.
Well,
And
you were.
he was reaching deep into my
You
heart.
were. Because he
Speaks through you.
was actively present to give you peace.
Yeah.
So he talked to me this morning, Joe, and what he said to me is, when you come under the power of a lie like fear, your fear of a check rotting in a drawer wasn't real. It's not a true fear to have. He was telling me the same thing this morning about my fears of losing him one day are not the character of Jesus Christ. So once we become afraid or unbelieving, why are those the first transgressions? The fearful and the unbelieving will be cast away. Because once we become afraid, we take on a wrong spirit that isn't part of the character of Jesus. He was talking to me about the same thing this morning.
Well, I wasn't afraid.
Well, you were afraid of the
Well,
rottenness.
there was fear.
Yeah,
Was it
of the
fear?
chick rotting in the drawer, and there's no
We
reason
gotta
to be
chase the
afraid.
money thing.
Because those
Okay.
checks would just hide out
Yeah.
forever. Yeah, there was no fear to be had because the checks weren't going to rot in the drawer.
Okay, that's good.
It's not a big fear,
Yeah.
but it is a fear.
Okay.
And that's
where we go
south.
And sometimes the fears are justified. Sometimes I fear that she'll say the right thing to the wrong people.
That's justified.
And it is, because I want to protect her. And I know they'll just turn and speak against it. So there is a fear there. But,
I've never seen that.
yeah, it's still fear.
And I think even in my own relationship, what I've realized is all of my offenses towards him have really exposed my fear and unbelief. And that's where the character of God has been developed in me, because I can't give him sound doctrine back. I'm acting out my fear with him. I'm acting out my unbelief with him, and I'm dropping the obligation to work through the division and offense with sound doctrine with him. That's where people
Yeah.
get blown away, because once I lose the obligation to love you, I wasn't even sure if I was going to talk to you. My first thought was just to talk to Rick about your unjustified fear. But when you came in the kitchen, I just decided to wing it and walk in faith and love with you to tell you this fear isn't justified, Joe.
Yeah.
And you know what? You seem like you received me. I mean, in some ways, Joe, you've been easier to talk to than most men I've ever known. That's the truth.
Well, Gene told me something yesterday and it did. I mean, it went deep into me. And I said, you know, you go. I don't have any wisdom. I don't know what, you know, I don't know what to do. I mean, like the guy in the Bible said, I don't know how to go in or out in front of your people. And I mean, that's the way I felt. And the thing that you said to me was yesterday, you said you've got the complete package.
Yeah.
And it was like when I was under that spirit, I forgot.
And what is a complete package?
Yeah.
What is it?
The complete package.
What is it?
It's the it's the charismatic gifts and receiving your spirit.
That's only part of it. The complete package is the body.
Receiving the one sent to you.
Oh.
Receiving the one sent to you.
Is her. Rick,
Yes, that's
Dylan,
what you said.
John, Josh, Tim,
Yeah.
Dan. She struggled with be perfect, as I am perfect. But the real meaning of perfect is complete. How is Jesus complete? With the Father and the Holy Ghost and his bride.
Yeah.
He's not complete without his bride.
Yeah.
We complete Jesus.
So one of the first scriptures.
So, the complete package is the core leadership first and the body.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta be quick to listen, slow to interrupt because of something said that you didn't quite agree with. Wait, because allowing them to finish may allow them to complete and to change their original statement. The Lord will feed them as they talk. Then there's no contention. That's wisdom.
You told me when I first came back from Germany, you're the only one I trusted. And, you know, I didn't trust people, you know, not just, you know, I wasn't being selective. I didn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I lived in the desert. You
Well,
know,
and-
that's why I carried a gun. I didn't trust people. You're the only one I trusted.
And one of the first things, but you know what we don't trust, because one of the first things I saw the mystery of, because I grew up in a me and Jesus got a good thing going, Joe. But what I realized is there's a deep, deep truth in what Jesus said. If they receive you, all the people, me receiving the least has everything to do with me receiving Jesus. If they receive you, they'll receive me and receive him who sent me. One of the reasons I see so clearly is because I haven't rejected the women that God sent to me. I've received them. And
Okay.
yeah.
And so the thing that you said to me, you had your desk in the living room in that corner at the ranch.
Yeah.
and you're sitting at your desk, and you said, you're not going to get everything you need through me.
Yeah, right.
And I said, oh yeah? And you said you're going to have to allow yourself to have relationships and be open with the other people in the body.
Yeah,
And that broke down a measure of my self-defense.
yeah,
And, you know, and so I started reaching out to people, and I found that as I was reaching out to people, it softened something inside of me. I mean, the first person I reached out to was Lawrence. You know, I gave him some of my possessions.
well, look